I walk under redwoods. I walk under redwoods, seeing their long journey towards the sky, their bark remembering centuries, the birds remembering where to perch. I smell the scent of pine and mint and see a warbler hiding under flower flurries, seeking insects or nectar. I stand under redwoods and sky, asking if they grieve or rejoice with those who walk beneath. I gaze up at their green embroidered hands swaying gently in the forest breeze. I hear them whisper songs of sorrow and of joy. I walk under redwoods, admiring their solid trunks, remembering ages of storms and sunshine. I gaze through lacy, soft pine needles, reach for cones dropped through branches to soft ground. And this is sort of in that, let's be joyful vein. It's called Walk into Joy. Walk into joy. Is it blue or gold? White, black? Black joy like obsidian, opaque, deep, mysterious, profound, aching, liquid black water like the sea at night, moving towards a yielding shore of joy. Listen to the sounds of joy. Tides plying, splaying salt froth, root beer float tides, joyful imaginings, foam wet toes, feel the feel of joy, the soft of wet, the knot of first met, flesh moist, sweet, soft, supple, walk into the wind of joy, feel the wind, hear the wind, see the zephyrs flowing, knowing joy, touch the taste of joy. And now here is a, thank you, here is a journey of the eel. There's been a lot more talk recently of their Sargasso Sea, so I thought this is appropriate. This is quite a journey for the eel. The most mysterious of animals, born millennia ago in a unique sea without shores, the Sargasso Sea defined only by currents and inlets, until the fingers of Gaia placed Panama across her waters. The palm of Gaia collected her seaweed within that seaweed growing eels, born as larvae to drift thousands of miles floating and disappearing within Gulf streams, becoming transparent eels. Returning to Sargasso on those same streams, the Sargasso gyre, tangling sargassum weed to nourish its marine creatures, now gathering plastics, caught in the vortex of that same gyre, an enormous garbage patch, dangerous to turtles, eels, and fish, yet always welcoming its prodigal eels, now mature to propagate again, larvae to float thousands of miles to become two species on either side of Panama, nature's own call to diversify her snake-like creatures of the sea, expanding northward and westward in the mighty Atlantic, venture to the Pacific to transform again as giant moray and the small eels of Hawaii, together with their brothers from the Sargasso, trust the ocean and her goddesses to protect and nourish while bathing them in microplastics, floating like enduring rot, suffocating life without its knowledge, slowly strangling the ocean, while her angel of the sea, traveling thousands of miles, find their ancient home usurped and dying, gift wrapped in plastic. Oh, and I'm going to finish with, I have one other walking poem. Is that okay? Escaping Forever. And then I want to finish with a journey to the Caucasus. All right, this is Escape into Forever. We walk into the forest of the spirit. Great canopies venture beyond our thought. We float on cones pummeled by winds that push beyond the roots of consciousness. We climb with squirrels pulled by sunshine, beaming a green ladder into light. We climb beyond the clouds and sun, beyond ideas of galaxies, Beyond all constellations, our hands hold stardust gently, dreams of ages seeming to be deep within and yet escape into forever. Above the forest of the spirit, we ride upon the eagle's feathered wing, becoming all we see beneath her vision, and all we see becomes the air we sing. And smell of pine mingles with jasmine, while jasmine is the very air we breathe, and air and stars and consciousness become our eagle's flight as soul emerges on her wings and we become the night. So here with our lesser and lesser group here, I want to do the ancient autonomies of the Caucasus. I just find all these little old kingdoms just fascinating. Abkhazia, South Ossetia, republics fleeing domination. Now Nagorno-Karabakh, historically the kingdom of Artsakh, one of the last medieval Armenian kingdoms to remain independent until the Turks invaded, leaving it open to rule by Mongols, Turks, Persians, Russians, and in 1920, the Soviet Union, who at dissolution forced it to join Azerbaijan. Artsakh, some still say Nagorno-Karabakh, once a refuge for Christians and persecuted minorities, for Armenians fleeing genocide by the Turks. Little countries squeezed between historic powers, retain pride of ancient cultures and language, seek their own independence from mighty Russia, sitting on Georgia, Turkey to the west and south, Iran to the south. Among these giants, little countries in the Caucasus, with ancient cultural roots, seek to cultivate their own histories, once kingdoms of art and poetry, creating tapestries and sculpture from the earth, sculpture deep in the Caucasus, defining the very mountains they embrace, discussing poetry, art, and religion, yet overrun by ambitious neighbors, tossed between strangers, juggled among neighbors who would control their riches, their pipelines from the Caspian Sea. Tired of being a sideshow, raise their heads and smile in beauty, trade their oranges at harvest to those who would control them, refuse to accept rule by those who do not know them and cannot tell their stories.